Welcome to the Let Me Know That You Know
now.
Let Me Know That You Know podcast.
Okay.
I'm Dustin.
I'm Andy.
Mr. Coin Laundry and truly Mandalee.
That's me.
How are you?
I'm good. It's been a busy day, but I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm thriving.
We are
I don't know that I'd go that far, but I'm here.
we are currently recording on Mother's Day.
Yeah, just taking a quick little break, a little runaway, and then
Which has been a lot.
it's been a day.
A long day.
I like a nice relaxing Sunday.
Day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like a nice relaxing Sunday, so whenever I have stuff that I gotta do, it just stresses me out, man.
This week, I have a very small list. It's been a slow news week in the geekdom.
The geekdom, the pop culture-dom.
Pardon me?
I can't repeat it.
Yeah, not a lot happening, just a lot of rumors. Because, what's up?
Resident Evil 8 came out. It's real fun.
Resident Evil 8 is amazing. I played it on stream yesterday. And if you didn't come by that, you missed out a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened. A lot of bad things happened.
Yeah, there's a lot happening.
It was not the
to poor old boy.
It was not the erotic thrill ride that I was promised.
That you signed up for.
Yeah, it's a little scarier than that.
Oh,
It wasn't like sexy scary. It was more like scary.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" All them advertisements of the big vampire.
They
lady.
knew how to sell. Their marketing team is like high-fiving and like cheersing all day.
They tried to play it off like they weren't aware of what they were doing, and then,
they knew. Come on.
And then they really leaned into it.
They went, the people are like really signing in on this. They're like, all right, we'll
maybe
give
they
you...
just had like a contingency plan in case people were upset and outraged.
I guess
That's the only thing I can come up with. As far as news, pop culture news goes, nothing really happened. Just a lot of rumors. Because, if Ed Boon sneezes, then suddenly it's...
You know what they can't say now, though?
What?
Melina?
Melina? Well, no, they can't say that.
It's over. She's already in the game.
She's in the game. She's in the game. She's in the movie. No more crying for Melina. And I don't hate Melina, but those people...
You hate the rabid, like...
They made me want to
whining?
hate Melina.
The rabid whining for Melina.
Every tweet, it's like, Melina, are you going to put Melina in the game? Or you put Melina in the game? Or did you put Melina in the game? It's like, you know what makes a person not want to do what you want them to do? If you pester them every millisecond about it.
Anything you say, like, I made a dope... noodles. That's all I'm getting to.
I made dope noodles. Well, I mean, he had stuff like that. Like, just played some basketball with friends, and then they'd be like, Melina confirmed? And it's like, leave him alone, dude.
I'm having the time of my life. Leave me alone.
Well, he made a mistake. First of all, he made a mistake of breeding this sort of community.
Rabidness.
Yeah, because he always used to be that person. He is kind of that person where he gives little subtle hints or whatever at to what's happening.
So it's kind of like the Taylor Swift fandom.
But it's worse. It's worse.
Maybe not like yelling and like having a fit if it doesn't happen. But people, I'm just talking about the codes they try and find in every little thing. Well, and they're like master mathematicians by the end of it to figure out dates.
This community, they try to figure out the codes and stuff, but they're way worse with it.
I mean, their attitude is worse.
They're like the Batman Adam West movie where Robin was like, it happened at C for Catwoman. That's literally how they are. And it's irritating. If I was him, I would delete my Twitter.
The Swifties are like real good.
No, this man.
For the most part, they're spot on.
But he made the mistake of being like...
If you hear a loud truck going by, I'm so sorry.
He made the mistake of being like, I want to make a Marvel fighting game. And so every single news site ever, every single pop culture news site is like, oh my god, they're making a Spider-Man game, they're making a Marvel game, they're making a fighting game for Marvel.
Can they even?
It's confirmed.
Can they even?
They probably can get permission, but it's probably a lot harder.
But I mean, they'd have to get it from Capcom, wouldn't they?
No. Well, no, they'd have to get it from Disney. And it's not like he can just snap his fingers and get the rights, because NetherRealm Studios is owned by Warner Brothers, who are exclusively DC right now.
That's an ugly...
So it's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely that Disney would be like, yes, our competitors, here, make a game for us. And then people went, well, if he makes a Marvel game, then we can finally get a DC versus Marvel. And I'm like, that is not happening. That is not happening.
DC's still mad that Marvel's making money.
I mean, the thing... DC needs to get his head out of his ass, because I like the movies that they've made. I don't hate them like a lot of people seem to. But they need to stop trying to look over at what Marvel is doing and try to copy it. Just do your own fucking thing.
Tell your own stories. Don't worry about the formatting of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, because now you're freaking out and you're like changing out Batman actors and being like, but we have to make it make sense somehow. So Flashpoint, right?
But please keep our pets. We love him. We support him. Thank you.
What?
I said, but please keep our pets. We love him.
Oh, yeah.
We support him.
Well, they must like him some, because they've been talking about how they're putting the future of Batman in his hands, essentially.
Okay.
So that's probably a good sign. But anyways, they're so obsessed with what Marvel is doing that they're tripping over themselves. But even if Ed Boon miraculously gets to make a Marvel fighting game,
sure,
he's not going to get to make a Marvel vs. DC, because Warner Bros. Owns NetherRealm Studios, and NetherRealm Studios is known for its like story-driven fighting games. Do you really think that in a versus, Warner Bros. Would let Marvel win the fight? And Disney's not going to be happy with that.
I mean, the only way that I see it ever happening is just ass loads of money.
Yeah.
It would have to make ass loads.
Well, it would make ass loads, is the thing.
But I mean,
it's the thing that people have been clamoring for since X-Men vs. Street Fighter was a thing.
But when I think of, like, the NetherRealm games, right?
Yeah.
I think of all the tie-ins. Like, they have their app, they have the comics, they have all of that. It's not gonna happen.
No.
That's, like, part of their marketing is all the tie-in stuff.
It's just...
Especially the comics. It'll never happen.
I mean, I'm not going to say that a Marvel fighting game will never happen is out of the question, but it's a lot more complicated than just Ed Boon saying, I want to make it. He's put it out there.
He wants to make it. That's genuine, I'm sure.
But I wouldn't jump to, it's confirmed. Another rumor, which is more exciting to me, not that I wouldn't lose my shit over a Marvel fighting game made by Ed Boon and the NetherRealm Studios people. They're saying, a lot of people are saying that Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is getting a remake.
Oh, okay. Didn't they do something, though?
No.
It was like an online game, wasn't it?
Well, they did The Old Republic.
Okay.
Which is an MMO, so not a lot of people that I know wanted to get into that, because they were like, I don't really want to, I want the game.
They want to play a game. Well, not that an MMO is not a game, that's not what I'm saying, but they want to play like a story.
Well, they want to play what they played
game.
to begin with, what they liked originally.
Mm-hmm.
But they're talking about remaking it, which I'm all for. And they're talking about making it play... They say action RPG, which in my mind means they're going to try to make it more Mass Effect gameplay, which I am also all for.
Yeah.
But I'm just excited to see what happens with that.
You know what I was excited for?
What?
1313.
We were all excited for 1313. We are all hurt. All of us.
So, I the only thing I'm very excited about, and I'm allowing myself to be excited about, is Dragon Age 4.
I'm so excited for that. I need new BioWare games. I can replay the BioWare games I have over and over and over and over and over and over again, but I need more. I can
replay ones. I mean, really, I've only played Dragon Age. I won't front. I won't play games. I've
tried to make you play Mass Effect for so long.
Maybe I will with the remaster.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that remaster. I know the lighting looks like they made it worse, but the thing about it for me is just that it's all in one place. I
don't get why they couldn't have made like a PS. I know it's like different hardware, blah 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 blah, but
yeah, I
wish they would have taken that little extra moment and really optimized it for the PS5 like out the gate. Maybe they did. Maybe it's a like update, whatever. But
we are talking about EA. BioWare's not at the helm anymore.
I know, it's so frustrating. I'm like, that would have been such a nice little touch.
It makes me sad.
I'm sure you can play it on the PlayStation 5. It's just...
The only thing I can be grateful for is that I know people hated on Andromeda, but I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing I can be grateful for is that EA didn't just like do away with BioWare completely.
Oh my god.
Like Microsoft did Rare.
After Anthem, I was sitting there like biting my nails waiting to hear if they were just going to be like, oh, we're done. I bought Anthem. I was like, I just need BioWare to exist for Dragon Age 4. That was my number one priority.
Well, the good thing about Anthem is that it told them, hey, don't do this again.
And they went, okay, Dragon Age 4 doesn't need to be online. And I'm like, that's right.
They were like, hey, no one likes this. Should we do this again? And EA just stared at them for a long time. And then like 3 days later, they sent them an email and said no.
Literally. When EA went, we need to make this game always online. And then the thing popped up and it said everyone disliked this. That's what happened. But anyway, Dragon Age, BioWare games in general. When you're playing these games, does anyone actually ever pick opposite or change up? You do.
What?
You freak.
What?
You actually follow different story progressions.
Well, I don't go evil.
No. But, I mean, you'll, create different characters and create different...
Well, Mandy.
Yeah.
I'm a webcomic creator.
Okay, but...
I have many OCs.
That's fine. But, literally, every time I go to play these games, I'm like, I'm going to do something different. And then I'm like, well, I really like being an elf. And then I'm like, well, I really like being a mage. So I'm like... And then I make the same exact character for the 5th time in a row and play the game exactly the same.
No, I want to explore. I want to see what happens. I feel like Origins had so much more.
In my brain, I do. In my heart, I don't.
I feel like Origins had so much more to it in that aspect because there were so many different...
The different beginnings was really interesting. Yeah. I did play through as a human, I think Rogue.
Yeah.
Because I needed to be able to do a run where I could marry Alistair and become queen.
And, I get it. I get the, they don't want to sacrifice certain things to have to work longer on that. Because, Inquisition was such a jump from Origins and, gameplay and graphics.
Are you just not going to talk about 2?
No. 2 doesn't exist. We don't talk about 2 in this house.
2 could have been something. I feel so bad because there's a lot of the developers and stuff were talking about this very recently. And they were saying, it was literally, they had a timeline and they had to put something out. Like, the timeline had nothing to do with what they actually had, so they just had to throw something out, and they were like, this is Dragon Age 2, and it could have been somebody.
Well, they were talking about I hate so much that people have been using this as a hashtag, Snyder Cut of 2. I
hate that it's Snyder Cut. Like, Director's Cut never existed prior to the Snyder Cut.
Everyone all over Twitter, all these companies just forget the Director's Cut was a thing. Anyways, they said that they're gonna do... Well, they said they want to. That, again, I'm not gonna do the Ed Boon thing and be like, they're gonna do it. It's confirmed. But they said they want to make a Director's Cut of that.
I would appreciate that.
I would too. Maybe they can make it good this time.
It's just so frustrating because I could see that the characters were interesting. I could see, I mean, except for, I'm so sorry. If you love Anders, I'm so sorry. He went from being, like, kind of dope in Awakenings to fucking a whiny emo-ass bitch. Coming from an emo-ass bitch, he was the whiniest.
I forget he's in it every time.
I don't.
Before I go, I never even found Fenris, and you were like, there's this character Fenris. I'm like, who? And you're like, he's a companion. I'm like, who the fuck is Fenris?
I tried to romance him. He was way too moody.
He sounds like an asshole.
I'm
grump. Glad I missed him.
He's like, eventually you can get him to break down a little bit. I got him to the point, one playthrough, where he didn't betray me or, like, switch over to, like, try and... I'm always a mage. It's just... It's what I relate to. I like it better. I'm better at the combat. But anyway, so he hates mages. Because he was from Tevinter. He was a slave in Tevinter. And Tevinter, the mages are, like, the top tier, like, elite people, right? And they keep the elves as slaves. But, I got him to the point, one playthrough, where he didn't betray me at the end, and I was like, that's my boy!
Well, you know who always betrays me no matter what?
Isabella.
Zevran.
Oh, really?
In the first one.
He's my bud!
I tried to talk to... Like, you were like, well, you just need to talk to him more. And then I tried to talk to him more. Motherfucker still betrayed me.
He's my bud!
And I was like, you know what? This is happening, and I killed his ass.
I can't believe you do that to him.
Well, fuck him.
He's my bud.
He tried to kill me.
That's my bud.
I'm your fiance.
I know, but that's my bud.
Well, he tried to kill me.
It's my bud. You don't get to kill my bud.
I had to kill him.
It's not that hard to keep Zevran alive.
It's very hard to keep Zevran alive.
It is not.
It's as hard to keep him alive as to keep, like, the sea monkeys you get from a comic cat.
Don't they like barely need anything? Yeah. Which is a very good example of how not hard it is to not kill Zevran.
Yeah, but I think everyone...
I think they get bored.
I don't think it worked the way people thought.
We had to, in elementary school, they gave us like these little shrimp, and we had to like watch them grow. How
did you handle that? You hate the way they look.
I do, but it was interesting. No, I mean, they started out as little teeny tiny little dots you couldn't even see, whales. And they grew.
Yeah.
They grew a lot.
That's crazy. They were just like, here, have a pet shrimp.
Mm-hmm. We just kept them in the classroom.
And, you weren't allowed to take them home?
No. They probably figured something bad would happen if they went home.
I mean, probably.
It would not be good for the experiment. It was like science class, so it was just interesting.
We didn't do anything like that.
It was, like, very easy.
We didn't even, like, dissect anything.
Oh, we did. I don't remember. I think I blocked it out. I didn't do anything, though. Oh, I remember. We had to... this was nasty. I don't know if we ever did frogs. I don't know if I was even present for the frogs. Because I was revolted. We dissected a sheep's eye in elementary school. In elementary school. I think it was like 6th grade, so we were like just on the cusp of going to middle school, junior high.
The only people who dissected anything in my high school were the ones who took like, what is it? What do you call it?
AP Bio?
Yeah, AP Bio.
Yeah.
I almost called it Bio New Game Plus.
I mean, basically the same, but...
That's the only people who actually did any, like, dissecting or anything.
Yeah, because I never did I did calculus, AP calculus.
Yeah.
But everything else was, like, high performance.
And
it didn't count for anything, which was really stupid. But we had just started getting, like, AP classes as I was leaving.
Yeah.
So we didn't really have a ton of opportunity.
Even if I was at all smart enough to do any of those, in high school, that was like the worst time of my life. So I was just so unmotivated to do anything.
No, I think I just got into a group that somebody said they'd do it, and I was like, lit, don't want to touch it. Didn't even look, would make me sick, thank you. Same with the eyes, that was a lot.
The fishies have no eyes.
The sheep had no eyes in this one.
The sheep have no eyes, they're blind.
Yeah. They were. They were probably dead. I hope. Otherwise, they were just pulling eyes out of sheep. That was a lot.
But,
was I done with Dragon Age?
I don't know.
I think so.
Well, you're never done with Dragon Age.
No, I could probably do a whole podcast just talking about my feelings on Dragon Age. I just love those games so much. We can do that
sometime. Just talk about BioWare.
You can talk about Mass Effect.
I love BioWare so much. I always loved BioWare so much. I used to have this webcomic a long time ago. Now I have different webcomics, but I've gone through a slew of different ones where I started.
When he used to doing colored pencil-ish.
Yeah.
Colored pencil?
That's the one I'm talking about. It started colored pencil, and then she went...
Can I tell you? Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys. Y'all, I either had a drawing tablet at that point, something, and I went, you can, like, do these digitally, and it might be, like, easier to, like... push or like market or whatever, because I'm like scanning y'all, he was scanning these in. Scanning in your comics just doesn't seem as efficient to me, and you might be able to do like better like shading and blah 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 blah, and he fought me on it. He fought me. I think it was like a good year before he went, you know what, I'm gonna try it.
I'm stubborn. But this was the comic in question. I wanted to be Penny Arcade so bad. So just imagine that. That's what my comic was, essentially. And, but anyways, my point is I loved BioWare so much that I came up with a character called BioWare Dad, who named his son Biak, which stood for BioWare is all-knowing. And he wouldn't allow his son to play anything that wasn't a BioWare game. And his son was like, Dad, can't we play anything that's not Mass Effect? And he was like, sure, son. BioWare provides us all games, such as Mass Effect 2. But anyways, that was
I can't believe you didn't bring Dragon Age into this.
Dragon Age I wasn't playing at the time. And Mass Effect 2 was fresh, so Dragon Age was pretty fresh, I think, at the time. Oh my god.
Dragon Age.
I'm so glad. I don't know how. I think I skipped over 2 to Inquisition somehow. And so I'm so glad 2 didn't tarnish.
I remember that you were like, you were like, you should probably play it, but you could skip it. You don't really want to. Oh, yeah,
that's right.
When I was playing through the games.
I didn't like it at all either. Then.
And I was like, I'm going to play it because, God, I just loved Origins so much. And I could see why you hated it. But I was like, there's something here that could have been good. It's
called Varric and Hawk. And they're the only ones carrying... it's so shocking that Varric and Hawk were in Inquisition, because I was worried they broke their back carrying that game.
But it was like you just hanging out with your bro the whole game, and I was like, I love this. I love this for us.
And then the others talk. And then you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
And the romances was not great.
Who did you keep? No, they sucked. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you found someone to romance that wasn't bad, but mine
I would
was
romance
very,
Isabella, but it was never that great because it felt so rushed. Everything felt so rushed.
After going through the whole romance of Dragon Age Origins, and then you go into 2, you're like, oh.
Which is something that I will give people who don't like Andromeda very much. That also felt super rushed.
Yeah.
And, like, the romances were very lackluster.
I liked Inquisition. I felt like they did a pretty good job again.
Inquisition is my favorite. Not out of all of the BioWare games, but it's my favorite Dragon Age.
Not mine, but...
It's probably my second favorite BioWare game. My favorite being Mass Effect 2. I love Mass Effect 2 so fucking much, man.
See, it's always Origins. Origins is my number one baby.
And
then Inquisition.
So much. I mean, the Mass Effect games were really cool, and I loved them a lot. There's always that one thing in each one of them that makes you hesitant to pick them back up again. Like in one, there was a fight with the Asari commandos and stuff.
Do you remember I got to that point in one where you were like, you have to like, you can get the truck through the area, but you have to like ride it up the wall.
They're gonna patch that, huh?
Yeah, you're gonna have to leave the truck behind.
I'm gonna have to leave the truck behind.
Or maybe they'll leave it. Maybe they know.
I don't know if they even know that that's a thing. In Mass Effect 1, when you're going to find Liara, there's a part where they're like, okay, they're very clearly like, okay, you can't take the Mako past this point, so get out of it.
Spoiler, you can.
Yeah, if you want it bad enough.
That is the key, because I think I spent a good 10-20 minutes trying to get it.
It takes that long sometimes. If you want it bad enough, you can get that truck through there, and then you don't have to worry about any of the snipers. You don't have to worry about any of the rocket soldiers. I never had to fight any of those. I just took that Mako through and shot the shit out of everything.
Yeah.
Cause then you get
oh my god, I tried to do it without it.
Yeah.
And like, I kept dying. And you came in and you're like, hey, you know, you can do this. And I'm like, okay. Now, I was playing on the computer, and I'm very much like a keyboard and mouse person.
Yeah.
I'm really bad. I can't aim for shit with a controller. I just can't.
Yeah.
And I'm more precise with my keyboard and mouse. So, me trying to do what you were able to do with a controller felt impossible, but it was.
I'm sure it's harder to do it that way.
Yeah.
But I just can't do it, because you get to the end, you get past all the snipers, you get past all the rocket soldiers and everything, and then you get to the end, and then there are these things called like Geth ghosts or something, and they like jump all over the walls and stuff, and then they shoot these laser things that can almost kill you instantly. They're firing their lasers, and but then once you kill them, then there's a giant Geth mech that can kill you instantly, and it's like, I need the fucking car.
I need an adult.
I need an adult. I cannot do this. So I never did that without that car.
Yeah, that was a lot. I'm trying to remember what I actually got to in one.
I don't know.
I was going on an adventure, I think.
You're missing out on so much.
I think it was like my first time like actually going out on my own.
Yeah.
Is where I got to. So not very far, I think.
Yeah. Well, Liara's past that. So you got a little bit past that.
Okay.
Maybe that's the last thing you did was
that was probably the last thing I did.
There. Because that whole segment is hard too, because then after getting through all of that, and you finally are on, you're like, let's leave. Then all of a sudden this Krogan comes in with his bodyguards, and they all have rocket launchers. And
you're like, great, thank you so much. So I must, I did get through that.
Love this.
But this is how you know we spend too much time with each other. Literally and but at the same time. But what was I going to say?
It's probably something about Dragon Age.
Oh, I don't know why Yep, it was. I don't know why Dragon Age hit me in the feelers the way it did that I played. I think it was like within 2 months I played both games, all 3 games, and like
different writers, I guess.
I guess.
It's different ways of telling a story.
I guess. And how they told Dragon Age, I was like, yes, I'm here.
I feel like you've never been that into sci-fi as opposed to like more fantasy.
I like the modern-y sci-fi stuff,
Yeah.
like if it's like close to current times, whatever sci-fi. But I do love a dragony tale.
A dragony tale.
Because I'm thinking about, when I grew up, I read like Redwall and like those kind of things. Oh yeah,
Redwall was so good. I just like both. But like I remember this is gonna frustrate him so much. My brother Glenn had been trying to get me to play these games for a long time, almost as long as I tried to get you to play the games.
Mm-hmm. I even watched you play Inquisition. You showed me some glitches. Yeah. It was a good time.
But my thing, especially back then, when my brothers would come to me and be like, hey, you should play this, I'd be like, okay, but then they would like ask me later, like, hey, have you played it yet? And then that would get on my nerves instantly, and then I would go out of my way not to play the thing.
Mm-hmm. When they're like recommending you good things.
Yeah, well, they would recommend me things, and I was such an asshole that I would just like...
I can't talk because apparently I too was an asshole.
I would be like, yeah, sure, eventually I'll get to it. And then I think I lived in Minnesota with you when I finally picked Mass Effect 1 up and was like, I'll see what this is about. And then immediately, hadn't even beat the first one yet, immediately went back to GameStop to buy 2 and 3, called my brother Tyler, who also was avoiding it, and went, hey... so Glenn is right. We can never tell him, but Glenn was right. Go pick up all 3. And he was like, all 3? I was like, yes.
You'll want them.
All 3. Do not leave that GameStop without all 3 Mass Effect games. And so he did, and we both played through all 3 super fast because we were so into it and wanted to see how did it end.
You know what? I don't think you were in Minnesota at that point. Oh. We were dating, but you weren't in Minnesota.
Was I at Jacobson? I was somewhere not at home.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You might have been. That might be right.
'Cause it wasn't long after we started dating that I moved out and moved in with Jacob.
It was like kind of in tandem.
Yeah. But I just remember buying all 3 and telling Tyler Glenn was right. Go get them all. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I picked up...
Because I think you were, like, sick or something. You were, like, homesick.
Well, I was sick when I played 3, I think? Yeah. I don't know. I had the flu. But then I was trying to pick up Dragon Age, but I was so confused because they had Dragon Age Origins and Awakenings right next to each other. And I was like, well, which one is the first one? What is Awakenings? What is Origins? This one says 2... But this one says Origins and Awakening.
I know, that was probably not the best naming scheme.
No.
And then they broke it with Inquisition again. That just tells me they didn't have time.
Yeah. And then I found out later that Awakenings was just a DLC story for the first one.
It was like a little extra.
But I did finally get Origins, and I played through it, and then I was so excited. And I played 2, and I was like, But I was hopeful for Inquisition and blown away by Inquisition.
Do you remember when you used to have to buy DLC on discs?
Oh my god, yeah, because Jacob, he came home one day with like all these Fallout 3 discs.
I was about to say Fallout. That's the one I remember like particularly.
I was like, what the fuck is all that? And he was like, it's DLC for their expansions for the game. And I was like, oh, that's cool. What are they? And it was like a bunch of small stuff on these discs. And I was like, why did they just not put this on the game? And then that's how we were introduced to DLC was the Fallout discs.
Yep, that's where I remembered it.
Yeah. And then like Oblivion had the Shivering Isles. And
you're right, yep.
And then they just started doing Game of the Year editions where they just included everything. And that's when I would buy them.
My preferred method of buying them.
Because I never got Shivering Isles, but then I got the Oblivion Game of the Year edition, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'm so glad I didn't buy the disc, but that's really cool. But that was a thing. I wanted to ask you,
Oh, no.
Because I don't have a whole lot of notes.
That's okay.
This was
so far, we had a BioWare podcast.
We had a BioWare.
And, I wanted to ask you one more thing.
Huh.
In regards to BioWare, I'm shocked. I guess this isn't a question.
What's that?
I'm shocked that it took you so long to, like, go to Mass Effect when you liked their Star Wars games.
Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 were, like, everything to me. I guess I never knew it was the same people. Because back then, I wasn't on, like, Twitter or anything. I wasn't watching YouTube or anything. The only people I had to give me information were...
I gave you YouTube.
Yeah.
I went, watch this.
Well, Glenn and Addison would always just show me videos, and I was like, well, their fingers on the pulse, so they'll show me whatever's good. I just didn't care that much. But
that's so weird to me, because, like, I just remember being in high school and being like, oh, yes, YouTube. This is the thing.
Whenever there was a good video, they would show me, so I was like, I'll just watch whatever they're going to show me. But I never knew... The only people I had to give me information were, like, Game Informer magazines, but they never went, like... Maybe they did, and I just didn't pay enough attention. But I don't remember reading, like, from the creators of Knights of the Old Republic. But Knights of the Old Republic was everything to me.
Yeah.
And
that's why I'm like, I just don't get it. I don't get why you were so hard to convert, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I just didn't know it was the same people. And Glenn and Addison would bug me about it all the time. So I got annoyed real fast.
Yeah. They wouldn't have had to bug you about it if you just played it.
Not to say that they're annoying. I love them to death. I just, at the time, was a bigger asshole.
Little moody bitch.
A little moody bitch. But, it's so interesting now to go back through old BioWare games and go through the times because, like, they were obviously working on all the stuff that they're doing now very clearly, slowly. Because Jade Empire was before Knights of the Old Republic. They're already trying to flesh out some kind of, like, relationship kind of thing.
Yeah.
There wasn't a romance per se, but there was, like, your companions will like you better. And then in Knights of the Old Republic...
Which to me was just as important.
Yeah.
Like, as the romancing was, like, your little friendship you developed with all your companions.
And then Knights of the Old Republic 1, like... There was that, and then there was also kind of like a romance. Like, you could romance Bastila, who was this Jedi that you rescue in the beginning. If you played a dude. They didn't do any LGBT relationships at all.
Yeah, and that kind of makes sense for the timing of it.
Yeah.
But they very quickly changed that.
Yeah, playing it now, I wish they had...
Yeah, of course.
But maybe if they actually do this remake...
Yeah.
They'll be better about it. But there wasn't any, like, actual... There was a love scene, but it wasn't, like, a love scene. It was, like, okay, we're going to go off on adventures now. And then in KOTOR 2, they actually kind of did something. But it was, like... It was a situation where you didn't even know you were romancing some of these people. You were just trying to be friends. And then all of a sudden, two of them are fighting.
That happened to me in Origins.
That happened to me in Mass Effect. Because if you just, like, give one of them a smile, then all of a sudden they're like, we're dating, and then, like, you're romancing. Like, Ashley, I would be kind of nice to because I was nice to everyone in my crew.
Right.
And then I'd be romancing Liara, and then there'd be a whole scene where they're like, you have to choose between us. And I'm like, what?
You weren't even in an option.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
They were much better about it in 2 and 3, and in Inquisition. They were like, well, clearly you can be friends with these people, and here are actual romance options.
Right. So you're
dialogue.
not accidentally, like, flirting with people just because you want to be nice.
That was a frustration I had because I'd be like, obviously I want to romance this character, but I want to be friendly with everyone so I can explore all of the story that I'm missing out on.
Right.
And then they would take it as me flirting with them. And I'm like, this is too much.
That's like, just, no. Especially... That's the person you never want to like you. Yeah. Like the psycho Like,
oh my god. I ended up hating Ashley a lot because, you know, you start to explore her dialogue and stuff, and she turns out to be, like, really racist against aliens and stuff, and you're like, I kind of want to pick Caden this time.
I regret choosing you.
Yeah. I'm gonna let Caden survive instead of E1 per mile.
Well, I think that was interesting, because I feel like you did it relatively recently, like, within the last few years. And you went, you know...
Yeah. Caden turned out to be a badass, awesome guy.
Uh-huh.
And, like, in 2, I don't know if any of you have ever played any of these games we're talking about, but in 1, you leave or whatever, you've saved the galaxy, and then in 2, it starts out with you dying, but then being brought back to life by, like, a corporation that no one likes. And Ashley spends the whole game hating on you because you were brought back to life through no fault of your own by a company that she doesn't like. I didn't choose to be brought back to life, first of all. I didn't choose to be brought back to life by this company, second of all. Anyways, she starts hating on you the whole fucking time, and she will not let it go, especially not in 3. And then Caden, I let Caden survive this time, and then he was still kind of that way, but it took a lot less to get him to be like, okay, I'm not going to be an asshole about this. Anyways, the point is, don't let Ashley survive.
Jesus.
That's the only companion that could just go.
Alright. We can leave BioWare now.
Okay.
I think I've gotten all my thoughts out for now.
This was the only question I could really come up with for the podcast ahead of time, since we got no news.
Well,
no real news.
We did fine without it.
Cartoons when you were a kid that you watched that no one seems to talk about, discuss.
I'm trying to think, because I feel like mine did pretty well. I mean, I watched a lot of Darkwing.
Wow, look at me.
I watched a lot of...
my finger was on the pulse.
It was. I watched a lot of Gargoyles. I watched a lot of Pokemans. I watched, of course, Batman.
Batman.
The X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Fighting Foodons, I will present to you.
I know, it's not real.
It's a cartoon that Mandy insists is not real. Even after I've shown her the intro.
It's not real.
I've shown her, like, clips from the show. Fighting Foodons was this cartoon that was like a Pokemon ripoff, because, you know, there were thousands of those and thousands of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I only watched the original.
Oh my god. There were thousands.
I bet it wasn't even the original, but the one that got real popular. Pokemon? I only watched that one.
I don't know. Anyways, thousands of ripoffs of Pokemon, thousands of ripoffs of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I watched a little Digimon.
Digimon.
I like that cat one.
Digimon was better.
Don't ever say that. I know that's a lie, because I have played not all, but most of the Pokemon games and none of the Digimon games, so I'm just going to tell you.
A lot of the Digimon games, and they were all amazing. Except for one.
You're a blasphemer.
Anyways,
who's the cat one, though?
Sega was better, too. What'd you say?
Okay, Jan.
Was better. We won't talk about its current state.
I was about to say,
Back in the day, in the Dreamcast era, was the last true
hard
Sega.
Disagree, because that was the N64 era, and you trying to tell me
Sonic Adventure 2 battle, and then we had Power Stone. We had all the good fighting games. We had all the good games. Don't look at me like that.
I will take that and just put out Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And
the Dreamcast was superior.
No. Though I could have...
We had typing of the dead.
Thank God I could connect my keyboard to my game system.
Oh, don't even lie. You love that game.
I do.
You request that we play it.
I do, because it's fun.
Oh my god.
But
Sega was innovative. There's a lot of games you wouldn't get now without Sega. I feel like the dad in My Big Fat Greek Wedding was like, give me a word. Any word, and I will show you it has origins in the Greek language.
yeah, except you're
because
Sega.
Guitar Hero, you wouldn't have Guitar Hero today without Sega. You had Samba de Amigo.
That had nothing to do with Nintendo. I don't think until the Wii, Guitar Hero ever crossed over.
Manda.
It was just PS2 and what?
Donkey Konga.
Oh, well, we don't talk about that one anyway.
People loved that game.
That's cute.
Anyways, you wouldn't have Guitar Hero because we had Samba de Amigo and we had Space Channel 5, 2 rhythm games that started it all. You wouldn't have...
was the PS2 or the PlayStation? Which one was at the same time as those?
The PlayStation is because of Dreamcast.
Okay.
Because of Sega. Because Sony... Little fun fact for everyone. Sony went to Nintendo. And they were going to make a console together. And this was before the 64, I want to say. And
I think you're right.
Nintendo was going to use their thing, and they were going to have like a disc-based 64 kind of thing. And Nintendo did something. I can't remember what they did, but like Sony felt like they ripped them off.
They were betrayed.
They felt like they were betrayed because Nintendo did something with like a...
Everybody betrayed me.
They did something with a company that was a competitor.
It the CDI?
Maybe. So Nintendo really fucked up there.
Yeah.
They did something with a competitor of Sony, and Sony was like, okay, well, fuck you. We're going to take our thing. And then they went to Sega. And Sega said, hey, that's great, but we're already doing our console. What you guys should really do is make your own company. Make your own game console.
And Sega has been crying ever since.
Well, no, because they were kind of picked up by Xbox. The real people who were left over at Sega and quit went over to Xbox.
I mean, that's fine for them, but not for Sega.
No, it's not for Sega. But
Sega is in shambles.
Although
they're doing okay now. They've put out quite a few good games.
Well, the thing is, they're still big in Japan.
Yeah.
We're just the assholes. They're huge in Japan right now.
Well, yeah, they had a lot of really good games lately.
But we're the ones who are like, they only make Sonic and they suck.
Yeah, what else did they make?
They made Yakuza.
That's right.
I believe they own Atlas, or they have something to do with Atlas, so they made all your Persona games. They make a lot of games over in Japan. They're Japan only now.
Did they do Bayonetta?
Yeah, they
Atlas?
did Bayonetta.
Okay.
They had a hand in Bayonetta, yeah.
Okay.
They're the distributor and everything.
Okay.
But I don't think they outright created it, but they had a huge hand in it. Bayonetta is where they reveal that Eggman is dead. Because it starts off with them talking over Eggman's fucking grave.
Jesus.
And someone mentions him. They briefly mention him or something. And that was funny. I feel like we got off the cartoon thing real fast.
Yeah, because we were talking about, Pokemon, Digimon.
Oh, yeah. I was like, how did we get here?
How did we get here? Oh, yeah, our pets shout out. I still think about when he told Hayley Williams he liked the way she said here in that song.
Oh, my God. We're continuing the trend, I guess.
Yes, of course.
I said on Twitter that he, people like to do this challenge. I said, our pets join Twitter and become my friend challenge. And Savvy, our friend, was like, I'm manifesting this for you.
I love that. I love that so much.
Every episode so far, we have told a story. A personal story about our lives.
Sure.
And I feel like it's become a thing, and I would feel weird if I didn't tell a story.
Just like I felt weird about not including our pets.
Yeah. So, Also, shout out to Willem Dafoe. I love you.
Yeah, I can't forget him.
I'm going to get all of the crew of the Lighthouse to love me.
Okay. You can leave out something like the weird mermaid lady. And...
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Just those two.
Okay, that's fine.
Anyways.
We can do yoga together.
I have a story. A story you know.
Have a tale to tell.
I have a tale to tell. The names of the innocent, or maybe not so innocent, have been changed.
All right.
To protect them.
All right. I'm intrigued. I don't know what story you're going to tell.
I grew up in Albany, Georgia. That's where I'm from.
I feel like this isn't going to be real hard to...
No, it's not going to be super hard. It's not going to be super hard to figure it out, but I'm not going to outright say his name because I don't want to deal with that. I grew up in Albany, which is like 10 minutes from a town called Leesburg. And Leesburg had like the better school, so a lot of people moved there to go to the school and everything. So we moved to Leesburg so I would have a better school to go to or whatever. And, so around that time, my dad was laid off from the company he worked at because the company he worked at picked up and moved to a different country and shut down all of the American buildings and stuff. So he became a bouncer outside a bar. And a famous country singer.
What are you going to change the name to?
I don't know. Bryant Guitarson. The famous country singer.
Of course.
Bryant Guitarson. Mr. Guitarson. He lived right down the road from us. And I guess he frequented that bar a lot. Anytime he was in town, he would go to this bar. It's not there anymore. It's called the Crow Bar. The owner, allegedly,
Yeah,
even though he was convicted of it.
Mm-hmm.
He was convicted of it, but I'll say allegedly.
Well, then if he was convicted, you don't need to say allegedly.
Yeah, he was convicted of tax fraud and tax evasion.
Whoopsie doopsie.
Anyways, so they shut that bar down. Whoopsie doopsie. They shut that bar down real quick. Anyways, my dad was bouncing outside of it, and this country singer, Guitarson, he was frequent there, and he would get so drunk he would pass out and stuff. And my dad would drive his drunk ass home because it was right down the road from us. So he would put him in the back of his pickup truck, passed out in the bed of the pickup truck is where he would leave Guitarson.
I'm trying not to make any jokes.
and he would drop him off at his house where his mom lived and everything, because at that point he had moved out of Leesburg, I think. So anytime he was in town, he just stayed with his mom. Anyways, I never actually met Guitarson, but I just think it's funny that I have this like 1 degree of separation. Mm-hmm. He actually, I don't know if he was drunk or not. My dad never elaborated. He asked my dad, for those of you who don't know, is a bodybuilder, so he's built like he's fucking huge.
He's built like he's fucking huge.
He's fucking huge. He's real built. He's real wide. He's short, but he's got a lot of muscles.
But he could beat you up if he wanted to.
He could punch a hole in your chest.
Yeah.
Anyways, he asked my dad to be his bodyguard, but at the time, my dad was like, I don't know, like, travel across the country, just leave my wife and kid here. Mm-hmm. And my kid is just starting this new school, and I don't know if I can do that. So that didn't happen, but he asked my dad to be his bodyguard. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guitarson. We had another famous person who won a singing competition. Who was from there as well. We'll call him
Henry.
Henry. What's that movie? Kramer versus Kramer?
Sure.
We'll call him Kramer.
Okay.
Anyways, when he won, they were going to do like a parade in our town and whatever. And at the time I lived with Jacob. And I had never met him either. I just knew that he was he went to our school. He was like one grade above us, I think. And Jacob came up to me one day. This was before he went to American Idol. Jacob came up to me one day. He was like, there's this guy who goes to our school. His name is Kramer. And I was like, why did his parents name him the same name as his last name? Do they hate him? Anyways, then he went and won American Idol. He's a very nice man because when the tornadoes tore up Albany, I mean, he was a nice man before this, but this was just like a story.
Like a proof to go,
yeah, proof.
Yes, I judged you correctly.
Because when the tornadoes tore up Albany, he came back to town and like went door to door to everyone's house to make sure they were okay and like, is there anything I can do? And they would always be starstruck and be like, you're fucking Kramer. What are you doing here? And he's like, I mean, this is my town. This is where I grew up. And it's hurting, so I'm here to help everybody. He has such a good song about Albany too, I think. I mean, I guess it's a general song, but...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I love that I've changed his name like I'm saying anything bad about him.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kramer...
I mean, I don't think really anything was bad. I mean, this one, I feel like if people can't figure it out, come on.
I don't know if Guitarson wants everyone to know he would get blackout drunk.
He wrote a song about it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's what I was trying not to make a joke about.
Guitarson would get I mean, every country singer writes a song about getting blackout drunk. Right. Anyways,
well, he just wanted to prove that he lived it.
Kramer,
he didn't want to write about it and not live it.
Kramer was coming back to town after he won, and they were going to do not an award. They were going to do a parade, and I guess it was going to be televised. Well, Jacob's house was like right on the street that they were going to be coming through. And this dude fucking comes and knocks on our door. And he's just like, hi, we're going to be filming through here. And, we're going to be showing our town, our lovely town. And I'm like, literally right across the street is a fucking weed dealer. So... You're not going to be showing off a very lovely side of town.
Right.
Anyways, allegedly, we do. Anyways.
That one you have to do an allegedly.
Yeah. Anyways, he was like, we're going to be showing off our lovely town, and we were wondering if you could mow your lawn. And I was like, flabbergasted. This was at like 7 in the fucking morning. This man knocked on our door. To wake me up, to tell me I needed to mow my lawn. I'm like, you are not my mother. I am a grown-ass man. Mm-hmm. If I do not mow my lawn, go fuck yourself. Anyways, I was more polite than that to his face.
Yeah, I imagine.
Because I'm not that much of an asshole. I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then I went, Jacob, some assholes just came to us to tell us we need to mow our lawn because Kramer is coming through. And he was like, all right, I guess. And then he went and did it. I was like, I wasn't going to do it, Jacob. He was like,
It's about right.
But yeah, that's my...
I'm just trying to think if I have anything else.
That's my story time.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else. It was really a slow week. I was real busy with work.
Yeah, same. And like nothing really happened big pop culture wise.
No.
It just kind of...
Not in my world.
No, not really in my world either.
But can I spend a half an hour talking about Dragon Age? You betcha.
Of course. I think we'll do that again sometime.
I think I would be very good at it. All right. Any shout outs?
Shit. I don't really want to repeat shout outs because I don't want to get real annoying with it because I have so many people that we've already shouted out.
Mm-hmm. I think we really We really jumped the gun with our first episode shout-outs.
Our first episode shout-out.
Mm-hmm. We hit a lot of people.
Shout out to my family.
Shout out to my family.
Shout out to my brothers, Tyler, Addison, Glenn, Helene, Jacob. Love you all. Don't know if you're listening to this, but love y'all.
Happy Mother's Day to the moms out there.
Yeah. Oh,
post Mother's Day, anyway.
If you're in the Minnesota area, shout out to Addie Mae's bakery.
Yeah. My friend, she does wonderful baked goods.
Yeah.
They're very pretty. I think you can look it up on Facebook. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it's on Facebook and Instagram. I think under the same thing. Let me see. And we'll spell it out for you, too.
It's Addie Mae's Sweet Sugar Artisanal and Bakery.
Yeah.
And it's ADDIE MAEs. MAE.
And on Instagram, it's sweet.addie, ADDIE, .MAES. So, yeah, there's a shout-out.
There is a shout-out.
I felt bad. I was like, we should shout out someone. Anyways, I think that ought to do it.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Once again, I'm Dustin.
It's fun to hear your guys' feedback and that you like it and all that. So, I don't know.
Yeah, we're really enjoying making these podcasts.
Yeah.
We're really enjoying learning that you guys love it.
Yeah.
So, thank you guys so much. Once again, I'm Dustin, a.k.a. Mr. Coin Laundry.
And I'm Mandy, a.k.a. Truly Mandalee.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.